Hey friends, welcome to Everyday English, your easy listening English learning podcast that you can enjoy with your cup of coffee. My name is Lisa, and today we're diving into a topic that comes up in so many everyday conversations: how we travel around, or how we get around. Whether you're commuting to work, running errands, or exploring a new city, how you travel often depends on the layout of your town or city, the available transport options, and your personal habits. By the end of today's episode, you'll have plenty of phrases and ideas to talk about travel and transport in natural conversation. Let's start by talking about the urban landscape. What does that mean? The urban landscape refers to the way a city or town is organized, its streets, buildings, and public spaces. It also includes the transport infrastructure, the systems in place to help people get from one place to another, like roads, public transport, and bike paths. Together, these affect how easy or how difficult it is to travel around your city. Here are some ways you can talk about how your city affects the way you travel. I live in a small coastal town where public transport is fairly sparse. It's not a very walkable town, with shops and services spread out. I mostly get around by car. Sparse means there's not a lot of something, and that something is thinly spread over a large area. In this case, there aren't many public transport options, and the public transport routes are far apart. Saying public transport is fairly sparse implies it is inaccessible and inconvenient. Walkable describes how easy it is to travel on foot. A walkable town has sidewalks, paths, and short distances between places. Spread out means places are far apart, making it harder to walk or bike between them. Our next example: Melbourne CBD has accessible public transport options including trams, trains, and buses, and the grid layout of the city makes it easy to navigate. The city is also bike-friendly with lots of bike tracks. Accessible in this context means the public transport is easy to use and available to many people. A tram is a type of public transport similar to a train that usually runs on the streets within a city. Easy to navigate means the public transport is easy to use and find your way around. Bike-friendly describes a place that has features like bike lanes or paths, making it easy and safe for cyclists. Our third example: Tokyo is a dense, compact city with an incredibly efficient train network. The city's punctual trains and metro system make commuting fast and reliable. Dense and compact describe a city where buildings and services are packed closely together. Efficient means something works well with very little waste of time or resources. Punctual means always on time. Our last example: Los Angeles is known for its urban sprawl. The city covers a huge area and public transport options are limited, so most people rely on cars to get around. Urban sprawl describes a city that has spread out over a large area, often leading to longer travel times. To rely on means to depend on something. So in this case, people depend on using their cars to travel around. Now let's talk about commuting. Commuting refers to travel regularly between home and work, or home and school. A commute is the actual journey, and a commuter is the person making that journey. There are different types of commutes depending on where you live. Short commutes in walkable cities, long commutes for people living in suburbs who need to drive or take public transport, and mixed mode commutes where you might combine two or more types of transport, like driving to a station and then taking the train. Here are some different ways you can describe your commute. Our first example: I drive to work every morning. My commute takes about 30 minutes each way depending on traffic. I take the bus to work. It's a direct route and the bus stop is just a 5-minute walk from my house. It takes about 45 minutes door to door. A direct route means there are no transfers or detours. Door to door means how long it takes from the moment you leave your door until you reach your destination, in this case, until you reach your workplace. Our next example: I usually take the train. It's reliable and avoids traffic during rush hour. Reliable means something is consistently good in quality or performance and able to be trusted. In this case, a reliable train service is always on time and reasonably frequent. Rush hour is the time when most people are traveling to or from work, often causing busy roads and crowded trains or buses. Our next example, my commute is mixed mode. I ride the bike to the train station and then take the train the rest of the way. Our last example, I work remotely so I don't have a commute, but sometimes I work in a co-working space that's a short bus ride away. Someone who works remotely works from home or outside a traditional office. A co-working space is a shared office space where people from different companies or professions can work together. Co-working spaces are designed to be more flexible and cost-effective than traditional offices. Public transport systems vary from city to city, influenced by geography, culture, and infrastructure. Let's take a look at some unique examples around the world. Venice, Italy. Venice is a city unlike any other, with no roads for cars or buses. Instead, the entire city relies on its intricate network of canals. Residents and visitors travel using water taxis, which are motorized boats that operate like taxis on water. Gondolas, traditional flat-bottomed boats often used for leisurely rides, and ferries, larger boats that transport passengers across the lagoon and between the islands in Venice. Canals are narrow waterways that crisscross the city, functioning as streets do in other cities. This unique infrastructure makes walking and boating the primary modes of transport. Bogota, Colombia. Bogota has a transport system that stands out in South America, the Transmilenio. This rapid bus system operates on dedicated lanes, allowing buses to bypass regular traffic. With high-capacity buses and strategically located stations, it functions much like a metro system, but at a fraction of the cost. Transmilenio is not only efficient, the city's focus on affordable public transit has made it accessible to people from all economic backgrounds. Amsterdam, Netherlands. Amsterdam is renowned for its bicycle-friendly infrastructure, making cycling one of the most popular modes of transport. The city has an extensive network of bike paths, parking facilities for bicycles, and even traffic lights designed for cyclists. Public transport includes buses, trams, metro trains, and ferries. The ferries in Amsterdam are primarily used to transport cyclists and pedestrians across the IJ River, seamlessly connecting different parts of the city. The compact size and flat terrain of the city make walking and cycling practical and enjoyable transport options. These examples highlight how cities around the world adapt their transport systems to their unique urban landscapes and cultural needs. How do people travel in your city? How do you usually get to work or school? Do you have a favorite mode of transport? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear about how you travel around, and I'll see you in the next episode.